Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet. So if that interests you, please sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, I offer you another session of Whipping It with Juan. So if you are new to my channel, well, first, hi, hello, and welcome. I'm super happy to have each and every one of you guys. And secondly, if you're just seeing Whipping It with Juan for the first time and you're wondering what it really is me working on a work in progress, a whip, while I become your crochet buddy for about 30 minutes to an hour. I sit here, I work on my projects, I talk to you about all the things, whatever comes to my mind. I just, go a mile a minute at the gums here. And yeah, we just sit back and have a good time and enjoy each other's company. Okay, so for today, I am going to be working on my Eleanor shawl. So this is the Eleanor shawl. It is one of my creations. On another one of the Whipping It with Juan sessions, I sat here with pink yarn and I created this on the fly. No rhyme, no reason. I just started crocheting and I started talking and I didn't realize what I was doing until I looked down and I said, wait a minute, there's something here. So this is a 6-row repeat, and the reason why it's called an Eleanor shawl is because I am dedicating this shawl to a person. Obviously her name is Eleanor, but she was the very first person to ever request something from me on my channel. She was my 10th subscriber. I only had 10 subscribers at the time, and she reached out and said, hey Juan, nice to meet you. I have a favor. I said, sure, what's that? She said, can you make me a shawl? Just something very simple stitches, nothing overly complicated, something that I could just throw around and just go on about my day. And I said, well, what kind of stitches are you looking for? She's like, the simpler, the better. So she gave me a list of stitches that she likes to use, which all of them are in here. But a couple, it just felt like it didn't make sense to have everything in here. So I edited a little bit, so that's nice. And then she told me that her favorite color was blue. So it was a no-brainer. So initially I did a project in pink because I was being challenged with some challenging yarn. So yeah, there's a Whipping It with Juan where I'm holding up a pink project. Yeah, that pattern that I created sitting right here is this. So yeah, I wrote a pattern for it and we went with it. And the yarn that I'm using for this project is Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in the colorway True Blue. Look at how vibrant that is. It's so good. Anyway, I went ahead and got 2 skeins from the stash, and yeah, I'm working it up. I'm doing all the things. So anyway, how are you guys? I hope you guys are well. I'm doing good. It's been a very busy day. Very busy day. Let me tell you. Not including the day job, right? I come home from the day job. Now, mind you, while I was at the day job, friends, I was reviewing my work. Now, if you're not sure what exactly I'm talking about, as of the date of this video, it's May the 6th, I rolled out my spring crochet along on the 4th. So YouTube had uploading issues. I mean, it took hours to upload these videos. So long, in fact, that I uploaded them on the 4th. They didn't go to the YouTube streets until the 5th. Anyway, I'm reviewing the video first thing this morning, just to, dot my I's and cross my T's. Even though, like, I mentally checked it, I was tired. I said, you know what, let me get some sleep, wake up, and review. So it's the next morning, it's the 6th. It's this morning, I think it was about 3 something in the morning. And I'm watching the video, and this light bulb comes on. I'm like, wait a second, there's a mistake. The stitch multiples are not correct for the stitch that I used, and that's why it caused buckling. So I made mention of the fact, oh, it's fine. Once you turn it over and you continue on, it'll flatten out. No, 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 no. That was incorrect on my part. I said, what am I going to do? So, well, obviously I still have to go to the day job. So I got ready to go to the day job. Meanwhile, I have no time to sit here and do anything to my channel. I had to go to the day job. So I'm at the day job and I'm going back and forth. I'm pacing. I'm like, I have this video that's been viewed a lot of times, and I'm not exactly sure what I should do. Should I just put a memo in the description box and say, hey guys, there's a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Like, what should I do? So I took a moment, I reached out to some friends, and I, asked for their advice. And I got different kinds of advice. I had some friends that said, just leave a note. It's fine. You did all that work. It took 6.5 hours to record the tutorial, for the first week of the cow. 6.5 hours, not including editing or anything like that. So anyway, they were like, it takes a lot of work, 6.5 hours just for the editing and the filming and all the things. To just go ahead and do that. And then I had other friends that said to me, Juan, when you put out a video on YouTube, it's like planting a seed. It's not something that you just put out there and then it disappears. You put it out there, and then anytime anyone ever types, spring cow in the search bar, it's going to come up and people will see it. And that's when I realized I need to take that video down and I need to fix it, because anything with my name on it, if it's not right and someone searches it, in the future, it's always going to be there. So I went on all my socials and I said to everybody, listen guys, there's a mistake. I caught it. I'm going to re-record the video. That's literally all I could do at this point. So I went ahead and took the videos down. I finished the rest of my work day at the day job. Then I came home and I got right to work. So 6.5 hours later, I went ahead and put the finishing touches on it, and then I sat here and I waited for it to upload to the YouTube streets, which took another hour and a half. So yeah, the video itself was 1 hour and 15 minutes long, and then I did a left-handed upload and a right-handed upload for week 1 of my crochet along. So it was a lot of uploading, to say the least. And my original plan for the day was to go to work, come home, take care of the house, do all the things, and then come in here and do a WIPn It with Juan. Like, this was my goal from the moment I woke up this morning. So anyway, obviously I had planned on talking about a lot of other things, but that's fine. We can always hold off on another WIPn It with Juan session for something else. It's fine. Anyway, I'm sitting there waiting for it all to upload, and I said to myself, you know what, Juan? You need to still do the WIPn It with Juan session, because, you set that goal out there for yourself. And besides, there are viewers of yours, subscribers to your channel, who have said to you on numerous occasions that they look for this video. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it. And plus, I really love doing this. Listen, any opportunity you give me to talk, I'm going to take advantage of it. That's just kind of my thing, Give me a place to talk and I'll do it. You give me a skein of yarn and I'll turn that skein of yarn into a 1-hour conversation. I should challenge myself one of these days. Literally blindfold myself, pick up a skein anywhere in here or next door in the squirrel's nest, and then put the timer on and time myself to see how long I can talk about a random skein of yarn. Can you imagine? But there are a lot of different kinds of yarns around here. I have ice yarns, I have Premier, Hirschner's, Mary Maxim. I mean, I have every yarn. Well, not every yarn. I have lots of yarns. But yeah, I might have to challenge myself on that one of these days. Anyway, you may be wondering, Juan, why are you working on this Eleanor shawl? Well, this shawl is going to be the pattern release for my members this month, and the deadline to have it done is the 7th. So yes, amongst everything else, I gave myself a personal deadline of the 7th to get this done. So yeah, it'll be done by the 7th. I started it yesterday. Last night, actually. So yeah, it's working up fairly quickly, all things considered. I mean, while I'm waiting for uploads to happen, and yeah, I mean, I'm pulling this out. I'm working on it. Now, I'm almost finished the first skein. And I will say, one skein goes a long way with this pattern, which it's super nice. But what I really like are the ridges. I don't know why. I just love ridges on a scarf or a shawl. It just, something about it. It's super nice. So I hope Eleanor likes it. And of course, I'm going to remind her that I still know that she's my 10th subscriber. And that she was the first person to ask me for a make, like, you know, how to make something. You know, I was so blown away by that too. I'm like, is this what this is like? When people ask you for, you know, designs and things. I'm like, this is so awesome. I hope many more people ask me, and boy, are they. I love it. So anyway, as of late, what I've been doing is trying to find a way to thank those firsts along my YouTube journey. So the Genesis scarf, you know, that was my first scarf that I ever made. Of course, I took it to the tutorial table and fixed it, like the pattern repeats and things. But yeah, so that was a first. This is a first. I do have some other firsts that I plan on rolling out as well. Not all of them will be, you know, pattern releases for my members, but yeah, they will vary depending on like what kind of project it is. Now, the one thing that I am working on is coming up with free patterns for my Ravelry website, just to be able to get some visibility and some attention to my name and my catalog. Now, mind you, when I say catalog, I'm not talking about hundreds and hundreds of patterns sitting in there. Just right now, it's one. It's just one. It's about to be two. It's going to be this too. So yeah, we all have to start somewhere, right? So with that being said, I do have, I've mentioned this several times in several places, I have about 15 patterns in testing. I have a few that are on its way back, which is nice. And then once it comes back, then I can send the pattern off to my person who sits there and takes all the notes and makes it all pretty. And then I get the final draft, I sign off on it, and then it goes on the website. So there's that. And so, yeah, I thought about making all my patterns paid patterns, but no, there's going to be some so basic, like, yeah. I feel like anything that doesn't have a repeat, if it's just a 1-row situation, or if it's got like a 2-row repeat, no. Anything with more than 3, you know, whatever it is. Unless, of course, it's like a wearable, like, let's say a sweater that involves some sort of like mathematical equation or, you know, some kind of recipe, then that changes things, because there is a best friend sweater that I have down here that I've been working on. It's literally done all in 1 stitch, but, you know, to have it made to the size that you like, you need to know the stitch counts and things. And so, being as though I'd done that, if I were to put that on Ravelry, you know, that would not be free, you know, because that took a lot of time to get the measurements right, the gauge, and all the things. So yeah, actually no, it's not just 1 stitch. There are other stitches. I forgot, sorry. There's the half double crochet, there's the star stitch, and then there's another stitch in there. Front post and back post. Yeah. So, yeah, that one is not going to be a free pattern. But I'm thinking like, you know, let me see. Like the ditty bag. I have a ditty bag tutorial on my channel. I'm actually going to make that into a recipe. That one will be free. Lots of people love making that ditty bag. So, yeah. I will finalize the details and roll that out to everyone. But the goal is, you know, to just get some visibility. So if that means I have to have some free patterns on Ravelry, then that's fine. No big deal. You know, there's a lot more where that came from, especially when like you're constantly thinking of ideas and things. I mean, yeah. So the question of the day is, how big should I make this before I stop? Because Eleanor is not 6.5 feet tall like me. So is this going to be a one skein thing? Because I still have quite a bit left. And what repeat am I on? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm about to go into the 5th repeat. And I'm still in the first skein, which is great. You know, I definitely don't want to make it into like this triangular blanket. Can you imagine me giving the Eleanor shawl to Eleanor and it being so big that it looks like, you know, a blanket? She's going to wrap herself up like a burrito. You can't have that. I should ask her how tall she is before I start that second skein, if I'm being honest. But yes, she is aware that something is being made for her. I did tell her that I would be making it for her, and she may even know that I'm naming this after her. I don't know how much she knows, because I do talk a lot. I talk a lot, my friends, about all the things, and I don't necessarily know what people pick up from all the babbling I do. You know, if you manage to pick up some things and keep it with you, well, remind me. Remind me later. I'll be like, oh yeah, I said that. So I really enjoy all the hues of blue in this yarn. I think that it's got a great gradient. It's subtle. It's nice. I love this. Oops. Ugh. Runaway hook, runaway hook. Anyway, so yes, I finished week 1 of the cowl. It's posted, it's on the channel. And you know what? A lot of people are very thankful that, you know, I went ahead and just, you know, jumped in front of it. Like, I was very transparent. I went on my social media platforms. I told them what was going on, and I told them when it would be ready and all that. So, yeah, I didn't want to leave a mistake out there. No way. So, as for week 2, so what's going to happen is I'm going to pull the wheel out, right? I'm going to spin for more stitches. Now, a lot of people are asking, like, are you going to keep the same stitches on the wheel, or are you going to change it? Like, what are you going to do with it? And my thought is keep some and change some. Because there are stitches on that wheel that I don't really care for, honestly. So it's on there just to appease the masses. But listen, if it doesn't get selected, we need to change it out and put some more interesting stitches in there. Because there's a lot of extended stitches. Okay, fine. Extended single crochet, got it. The pike stitch. The pike stitch is an extended single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, you know, extended single crochet. Okay, that's interesting. There's some sort of texture with that. But like the extended half double crochet, that's like an altered version of like the herringbone. You know, the only difference is you're not going into the second loop. Like, you go into the first loop, right? And then you yarn over, and then you're going through the rest of them. But with the herringbone, You go through one, you yarn over, you go through one, you yarn over, you go through all of it. So you're just missing one little step that makes it different, you know. Anyway, I think it's redundant. You either put the herringbone stitch on the wheel or just take it off altogether, you know. So what else? The treble. I mean, listen, I know sometimes we love a good treble, but like if you're making a throw, you want to at least keep your fingers and toes from going through the blanket. I know people love a good treble crochet in a blanket or whatever the case may be. I mean, there's stitches out there that involve the treble crochet, but your fingers and toes aren't going through those stitches because, you know, of how it's being laid out. So anyway, I'm keeping it on there to appease the masses, but I have a feeling that if I need to take stitches out, those two would be probably the first two to go, you know. And the other thing too is I don't really care for the single crochet, not in a throw or a blanket, unless it's the moss stitch, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. Okay, fine. We can keep the moss stitch, but like the single crochet in every single stitch, no. I just did a whole blanket in single crochet. It was a mosaic. I had my fair share of single crochet. Let's move on to another stitch. Let's move on to something that's more fun. Well, single crochet can be fun, but it doesn't grow, you know? It's a lot of rows to get somewhere with that. Just saying. Anyway, so there's that. I just realized that I have a Hirschner's order in the car I forgot to grab. I had them deliver it to the job today. I came right in the house and didn't realize. Oh, stars. I should have brought it in. It's fine. It'll be another video later on, you know? If I can wait a whole entire week to open up an ice order, I can wait another day for a Hirschner's order. It's no big deal. It's only yarn. And what's the sense in opening up to see it myself if, you know, I don't have anybody to share it with? So I'm going to wait until I turn on the camera and then, you know, I'll share with you guys. I do know what's in that order, and I ordered cotton mill end cakes. They don't tell you what colors you're getting. That's why I shared that with you. Like I'm not going to share the other parts because, you know, it ruins the surprise of the situation. But the cotton mill ends are like they select them for you. So who knows? It could be a whole bunch of colors that you really don't care for, but you know, you take a gamble with those. So it's fine. It was $14.99 for 2 cakes, you know, side by side. They could be twins in a bag, or they could be total opposites. You know, you never know with those. But for $14.99 and you get 2 of them, I mean, it's so worth it, you know. And then if you have a coupon that makes it less than $14.99, then yeah, it's all the things. Like, go for it. Try to get more than one, especially when it's on sale, because the original price of those for 2 of them is $29.99 according to the website. You know, it's always on sale though, you know, for now. So yeah, someone asked me the other day, Juan, when are you going to bag up yarn? Well, listen, I need to, because I have tons of yarn that needs to be organized. But my issue right now is that I need more shelving units. So I'm binned out. I have bins galore, right? But now I need to get shelving units so that these bagged items of yarn have somewhere to go, you know, because I don't want to put them back up in the attic. Summer's coming. It gets hot up there. I don't want anything to happen to my acrylics. So I want them down here where it's nice and cool and, you know, no dust. So that's the hope there. So I'm thinking, let me see. I've got to make sure I'm doing this correctly. 1, 2, 3. Nope. I'm glad I caught myself. I'm supposed to be doing a front post double crochet. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, now we're back on track. The ridges are so important. Anyway, so yeah. Now with my bagging, there has been an update to my bagging. So when I started doing my bagging videos, it's been a while since I did them. I was squishing all the air out and, you know, zipping it closed and things, which is fine. My house does not retain moisture, so I'm not worried about like mold or anything like that. But anyway, the point of me storing my yarn is literally, it's enabling me to, 1, be organized, and 2, I'm able to move 5 skeins with 1 stroke of the arm as opposed to moving 5 separate skeins of yarn. So it's just easier to manage my yarn when it's like in a bag. So I have actually punched holes in some of my bags. I also thought about like not sealing it all the way just to have like the air hole, but I'm never going to use these resealable bags for anything other than yarn. So like if I take yarn out of one of those resealable bags, I'm only going to eventually put yarn back in it. So yeah, I have a hole punch. So what I do is I hole punch the bottom of the bag twice to just create air holes. And then I go about my business and I stuff my bags. So the bags that I ordered off of Amazon, you know, the resealable ones, they come with holes in them. So yeah, it's for air and ventilation and things. So yeah, I don't think I shared that when I bagged up the last time. But yeah, so my bags are not airtight. So I decided that if I do come across bags that are airtight, I'm just going to punch 2 holes across the bottom there and go about packing up my yarn and things. I just want to be able to transport bunches of yarn faster, you know. So with the 2.5 gallon bag of, you know, the resealable bags, I can fit 6 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver like stripes, not the jumbos, but like the regular size ones. I can fit 6 of those in 1 bag. So one movement, I'm moving 6 skeins with 1 arm as opposed to going back and forth 6 times. It's just, when you have this much yarn, you need to, you know, you need to strive for efficiency. So now in the squirrel's nest, right on the other side of this wall is another wall just like this, except it's not as neat and pretty as this. The entire wall is bagged, you know, and they're standing straight up and down like this. And front to back, there's 6 skeins in that 1 bag, and I can fit 5 of them across. So here, not in bags, there's 9. But in the other room, yeah, a lot more than just 9. You know, this is just for aesthetics. It's to look pretty. But over there, it's for utility. It's not in there to look pretty. It's in there to be stored. You know, I know where everything is. It's organized chaos. You know, so if someone says, hey, Juan, do you have any parrot stripe? I know exactly where to look to get it, you know. So, yeah. Now, I do have my yarn cataloged. So every time I buy yarn and I do a video, or I buy yarn and don't do a video, I take the time and I put it in my iPad. So I have a listing of every yarn that I have, not including the Happy Mail. So like the vintage yarns that I get in Happy Mail, I don't really log that, but I do keep it separate. I don't include it into like my yarn storage. just because, you know, aside from the vintage variegated yarns, the solids I'm not keeping anyway. So all of that is being donated back out. And yes, we do keep track of the donations and things. So yeah, super nice. It's been a long day, friends. Some days longer than others, and today was one of those longer days. Yeah, that's nice. Love it. And what's funny is obviously I don't wear shawls, you know. I think I'm just too big for them. And not only that, like, the shape of them isn't appealing to me. This one here has a deep cut, you know, which is fine, you know. It's a deep cut. But it's pretty. I know Eleanor will love it. So, yeah, I'm sentimental like that, you know. When I embarked on this adventure, I came in with eyes wide open, and I was paying attention to as much as I possibly could, you know. I remember who my first shout out was. I think my channel was it was less than 200, and I got a shout out from another channel. It was a smaller channel, but nonetheless very efficient and all the things. And then I remember my first Happy Mail. I remember my first experience with Bougie Yarns. It came in Happy Mail from a viewer, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen this kind of yarn before. So I want to commemorate all those firsts. So I'm reaching out to those folks and I'm saying, hey, I want to create something and I want to name it after you. One, are you okay with that? And number two, if you're not okay with the name, can you suggest the name? You know, so it could be anything, a blanket, it could be a poncho, a scarf, a hat, you know. So I'm asking them as well. There's still a few more people I need to reach out to, but Eleanor requested this. You know, my Genesis, that was me. You know, so there's that. My first shout out, I got to reach out to her. She lives across the pond, so I have to wait to hear back from her. And then my first Happy Mail, my first bougie Happy Mail, came from a viewer far, far away. So I have to reach out to her in the correct time zone. So yeah, I hope they all say yes, because I have all these ideas and I definitely want to dig into those ideas and see where it takes me. I'm excited about that. I'm just saying. So the next room is my squirrel's nest, right? So I have half a mind to literally take everything out of that room, gut it out completely, like take everything out, put it all into like my living room and dining room and start over. Because in the next room I have a fireplace. I don't need a fireplace in there, but I got it because, you know, of the aesthetics. It looks nice, you know. It was supposed to be like a den, and you know, before I started my channel, it was meant like a den. I have a couch in there, I have a flat screen TV, and I have a lazy boy. All of these things take up yarn space. Like, I need those things gone so I can fit more yarn. I'm fighting with myself because something tells me that I should still have those things in there and just fuse the yarn together with what's already in there. But I would much prefer either keep the couch and get rid of the lazy boy, or keep the lazy boy and get rid of the couch. And by that I mean just put it in another room, you know. So I'm not sure what we're doing exactly with all of that just yet, but I do have room in the master to take the lazy boy out and put that in there. So that frees up a corner, but I want wall space. Honestly, I would rather get rid of the couch. Yeah, I'd rather get rid of the couch, keep the lazy boy, and that opens up an entire wall. But then I sit there and think to myself, I won't be able to have company because all I have in that room is the lazy boy then, if I take the couch out. You know, and although I don't get company like that, you know, what if Mom wants to come over to this side of the house and sit down and crochet with me? Well, that's never happened, nor I don't even think it ever will, but who knows, you know? As of now, I find myself going to her side of the house and I sit with her and crochet. You know, she's become a recluse. She loves to just be in her room with her yarn. She tells me to close the door. I think I got that from her. You know, close the door. We just love to be alone. I don't know. And then this whole air purifier situation. Like, once I'm in here for an extended period of time, I get all stuffy. It sounds like I have a cold, but it's literally stuffy because of the fibers in the room. That's another reason why I'm trying to bag up the yarn. I'm not bagging this up because I use all this. You know, I'm constantly going to Michael's and Joann's and I'm refilling what I pull. But I think I need to bag this wall up here because I don't really use this wall as much as I want to. Yeah, I might have to do some bags to that. Nice and tight, you know. How many 1 pounds do I have? It's about 100 of them right there. 100 1 pounds. Just on this section alone. That's a lot of 1 pound, carrying 1 pound. And in the other room, I have the big twist pounders. Well, more than a pound is what they're called. When they go on sale for $7.99, I put them in the cart and I wait for the 25% off coupon. You guys know how I do it. You stack and pack, you know. Stack it up in your cart and pack it out when you get the savings. So, yeah. It doesn't, listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. Yarn doesn't expire. As long as you have the room, go get it. It's just yarn. You know? What I'm thinking about doing, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the neighbors have inspired me. So the neighbors went ahead and got a shed, right? And so I was talking to her, the neighbor, and I said, hey, I really love your shed. Where'd you get it? And she's like, oh, well, I got it at Home Depot. I'm like, Home Depot? Okay. So an hour after that conversation, I found myself at Home Depot looking at sheds. And so I'm in there looking and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so good. So in our neck of the woods, you need a permit to have a building larger than a certain size. I can't remember what it is, but the size that I was looking at, you need a permit for. So it was 15 feet wide by 20 feet long, I think. Yeah, it was something like that. It was pretty big. And it's got like this little loft situation going on, you know. I have the space out back to have it, so why not? But you need a permit. And so I'm looking at the permit, and the one question they ask, you know, what is its use? You know, obviously personal, right? I wanted to put for yarn. Can you imagine an outside shed just for yarn? Oh, my goodness. It would give me a greater excuse to go shopping. Oh, see, it's giving me ideas. See, if it's in the shed, like, I can keep everything in totes out there, you know, and I can label the totes and keep it all nice and organized and pull from there to fill the squirrel's nest and to fill in here when needed, you know. And don't even get me started on Mom's wall. She's got a yarn wall. And then the makes room, there's bins that go across the top. Yeah, yarn. So if I pull all the excess yarn out of the house and put it into the shed, no, that's going to make me want to buy more yarn. I guess that's the point, right? Yeah. And plus, you know what? I may be able to put the chair out there just to get it out. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. But I would love the idea of having a shed to put yarn in, you know. Back when I was a renter, I used to, I rented all my life until I had enough money saved up to buy this house. You know, I always wanted to have like a shed, like when I rented houses, but I could never have one, you know, because if I ever moved, how was I moving that shed, you know? And then if I didn't move it, it would be money lost, you know, so it just didn't make sense for me to buy a shed. But now that I own this house, oh yeah, that's a definite consideration. Especially a big one. I don't want one of those. And listen, those smaller ones are nice too. Don't get me wrong. You know, any kind of storage unit facility situation is great. But I mean, I'm very typical. Go big or go home. Like if you're gonna get the shed, get a big shed. You know, I even thought about running electrical to it. So when it's nice out in like the fall, I can just sit out there and just be real chill. I can plug in the camera and do videos out there and all the things, you know, go through the stash, go through the bins and talk about what I have. And I don't know, I may still do that even without electricity out there. I don't know. We'll see. It's a great idea in my book. In my head, it's a great idea. So that might actually be a thing. And they don't take long to put together. You know, the neighbors had theirs put up in a few hours. You know, it was a lot smaller. I want to say it's probably 5 feet wide by 8 feet deep. And they had it done. It was a team of people, you know. She wasn't doing that herself, so she hired some help to get that taken care of. And I believe that's what I would do too. I'm very the type that, like, I would sit, you know, I would sit out back, you know. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I would sit on like the outside furniture. I have this thing where I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a glass table and it's got the umbrella and it's got the chairs around it. I know it's some simple name. Anyway, I'd be sitting there with my crochet and coffee. Here it is, Coffee Then Conquer. I'd be sitting there with all this, watching them build it. And I'd be like, good job, guys. Keep up the good work. Does anybody want coffee? I have coffee. Anybody want a snack? I'll grab you a cake from the pantry. I can't have them. I'm diabetic. So, yeah, that's me. I used to be, you know, elbow deep in all the things, but yeah, I'd rather just have someone else do it. Besides, my hands have to be tutorial ready. I mean, can you imagine doing a tutorial with busted up hands because I spent all day putting together a shed? No, that can't happen. One time I did a tutorial. I can't remember which one I did. It was one of the scarves, right? But I was dehydrated. Like I wasn't drinking enough water and I didn't realize it, but my hands were so ashy. I got an email, actually several emails. Hey Juan, are you hydrated? Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Why? Well, because the tutorial, your hands were so dry and ashy. You know, you might want to throw some lotion on or something. I'm like, duly noted. I will definitely pay closer attention to my hands. So, you know, if I'm still going to do tutorials, I got to make sure my hands are good. So, before I do my tutorials, I wash my hands really good. I make sure my nails are good, and then I'll do the lotion, and then I'll blot it dry with, you know, a towel. I'll have my hands ready for the tutorial. Yep. And ever since I started doing that, no emails about crusty hands. Can you imagine getting crazy emails like that? Like, the things people pay attention to astounds me. Like, I could be sitting here talking to you guys about something very serious, and then I'll get this random email from someone from Timbuktu somewhere. Hey, that pink skein above your head. What was the name of that? I kept looking at it the whole entire time you were talking, trying to figure out like what the name of that colorway was. Can you just tell me what color that is? And then I would have no clue, right? And then what they'll do is they'll go back to the video, me sitting here talking about all the things, and they'll screenshot it. And I'll have this weird look on my face because I'll be mid-word. And then they'll edit it and circle the color. There'll be like this circle, and then, you know, they'll draw an arrow to it. This one right here, what's the name of that? I'm like, if you don't stop. I was talking to you about all the things, and you were concerned about a color of yarn that was behind my head. This was back when I had the other wall. So before this wall, you can go back to the earlier videos, you'll see it. The colors were all jumbled up. It wasn't, I mean, it was organized, but not like this. This is giving me like Joann's, you know, with their wall and their colors and things. Obviously, they have like triangles. Mine are square. But the goal is to have, you know, uniform colors and things. Now, obviously, you know, it's not perfect. Nothing is. But, yeah, I'm happy with my wall. I love it. It's imperfectly perfect for me. And so I get a lot of compliments on my wall, but the thing that people don't know about my wall is that I use a lot of yarn. Like, I go through a lot of yarn, friends. I do. I go through a lot. My mom alone, like, if I don't keep supplying her with yarn, she'll go through about anywhere from like 6 to 10 skeins a week. Because she makes Boggy Creek blankets. She does these blankets for my giveaways. She does, what else does she do? Oh, yeah, of course. So she's making all these blankets for family members. It's this whole new thing that she's on. She's like, you know, Cousin Billy and Laura and all the family members. She wants everybody to have a blanket made from her, you know, to remember her buying things. So she's on this quest. And so, you know, she doesn't want me showing it on the channel in case a family member sees it. She wants it all to be a surprise. And I'm like, Ma, they're not watching. It's fine. She's like, well, you never know, Juan. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. So she goes through a lot of yarn. I go through a lot of yarn. Like this month alone, not this month, April. So my big projects, right? So I put together a blanket, but me putting together those squares took 2 skeins of black. 2 skeins of the black right there. Okay. So then I did a mosaic blanket. That mosaic blanket took 14... No, that's the wrong one. I did 2 of the mosaics. So yeah, between the one that I shipped out, that was single crochet mosaic. And then I did another mosaic that was half double, but that was mainstays yarn. 15 skeins, 16, 17. And then my amigurumi, that took 7 skeins for that dragon. Sasha took 7 skeins to do. It was the 5 colors we were required to have. The tan took an extra one, and then the pink took another one. So that took 7 skeins to complete. And then my random shawls, my corner to corners, my scarves, and all the things. I must have gone through like 25 skeins last month that I could count, that I could account for. It doesn't include these random things that I do in between all the things. Like I have this whip that's over there, that's K&C cotton yarn. It's the one that bleeds. I talked to you guys about that several times. I'm 5 skeins in, and I'm still not done that, by the way. It's insane how much yarn I go through. I say all that to say, what you see behind me, it looks the same because I'm literally replacing it with the same thing. Yeah. There's a couple holes here that I need to fill. But yeah. Yep, we go through all that, which is nice. I mean, that's why it's there, right? I mean, obviously for aesthetics, you know, we love a good look, but I do go through that. So, I just realized Matt needs a new hat. It's so random, I know. Look, so this has been sitting on Matt for quite a while. This is the Crown Jewels beanie. I made a matching scarf with this. It's all the things. It's so nice. Check it out. It's on my channel. Tutorial for the hat and the scarf. Now, I know we're going into spring, but maybe save it. You know, something for you to do when it starts to get cool again. Who knows? But yeah, what I've found out that, you know, people are taking those tutorials and using lighter yarns for those tutorials, and actually, like, I'm finding them being excited about like maybe making a lighter version of it, which is nice because I have an Arctic Tundra infinity scarf. This thing is huge. You'll see it on my channel. It's big. People are taking, like, instead of a 6 and 7 weight yarn, they're doing like a 2 or a 3 weight yarn, and the look is completely different. And it's like, okay, I can see you wearing that in the spring and not, you know, in Siberia somewhere, you know. So the creativity is endless, my friends. Anyway, I'm hoping to be able to finish this row, and then we can call it quits, because it has been a day, my friends. It has been a day. So we shall see what the next day brings us. This will be done on time. All I need to do is take pictures. I have to finish this, take pictures, put it on the recipe, send it over to my person who then proofs everything, and then I'll get it back from my person. And then if everything is good, then I can share it with everybody. Well, first my members get this one first. And then it goes on Ravelry. So, super excited about that. If there's anything specific that you, my viewers, want to see me make, sound off in the comments below. And if I get enough interest, I'll start a list. And in between all the things, I'll start knocking out the list. So I had a list going, but I said, you know what, Juan, before you commit to a list, make sure there's enough interest. So, yeah, I definitely want to do that because I love filler projects. Like, I have breather projects, so the spring cowl is my breather project, you know. And then these little, you know, hats and things like that, those are filler projects. I can literally pull the wheel out, spin for stitches, and record me make something based off of the stitches, you know. I can sit there and make something on the fly. And the best part about it is that the wheel is giving me the stitches. It's not like I am, you know, making them up by myself. I mean, I could, but that's my guarantee that, like, I'm not copying or mimicking anyone else. I'm literally spinning that wheel. It's telling me what to use, and then I sit down and I use it, you know. That's why I love the wheel so much, because, you know, it's taking all of the guesswork out of it. give me what you want me to use, and then I will do my best to throw it together and make it work. So, yeah, we love us the wheel. And plus, it's the element of surprise. It's like, what's coming up next? Is it going to be the same stitch? Is it going to be something else? Will that stitch work with the other ones that we just saw him spin and get? So, the suspense is real. Just saying. Anyway, I have a few more stitches to go, and then we will wrap this up. If you enjoyed this, by all means, this is not going to be the last one. Like, I enjoy this probably just as much as those who watch me enjoy it, because I get to get working on my projects. I get work done. We love productivity, so that's why I enjoy this. I can work on my projects, get things done, and just focus on other things, you know? So again, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button. They're free. You know, go like this, click, thumb up, you know? So I would definitely appreciate that. I mean, if you didn't enjoy this, give it a thumbs down. I mean, I can't force you to do one way or the other, but hopefully it's a thumb up. But yeah, give me the thummies and all the things. Leave a comment. Don't forget, you know, if you have anything that you'd like me to make, if there's enough interest, I'll put it on the list, right? And then, oh yes, check to see if you're subscribed. Listen, if you enjoyed this, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. You know, I'm your crochet buddy. We hang out. I talk to you about all the things. For all intents and purposes, that could be background noise. That's fine too, you know. What else? Oh yes, don't forget to hit those notifications. So when I go live, I bring my mom onto the channel. We get together on Sundays, and yeah, we say hi to everybody on the YouTube streets. My mom's a riot. She's spicy. She is. You know, she used to be very quiet and reserved. Now she's coming out of her shell. Like, she sees other people on the other end. I was on a Zoom call with my admins, and the screen was filled with faces. And she's like, oh my God, who are they? I'm like, those are the people that watch us on Sunday. She's like, really? I'm like, yes. There's real people there, Mom. She's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I'm like, believe it, Mother. It's a thing. They see you. So ever since then, she's been putting forth lots of effort, you know, to let them know she sees you, she knows you're there, and she wants you to have a good time. So anyway, let me just recap. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. I do tutorials too. I have tons of those. Well, not hundreds. I have a couple. I think I have about 50. Yeah, I have about 50 between stitch tutorials and like projects that I've completed. And I just look to continue creating, and I'm always inspired. Like, I'll look at something on the way to work and be like, I wonder if I could create that color in this pattern looking like this. So yeah, inspiration is everywhere. So I will be doing tutorials. We will be hanging out, having a good time, talking about all the things. I do caking. I love caking up yarns, vintage yarns. I bag up yarn. I do yarn reviews. Yeah, I'm the jack of all trades, but master of none. You know, I humbly say that. You know, I know how to do a lot of things, but I don't consider myself a master at anything. So I just enjoy it because I like it. Anyway, I've already started the next round, or the next row. So this is where we're at. Love it. I think Eleanor's going to really enjoy this. Super nice. All right, friends. That is all I have for you today. I've already said all the things, so hopefully you guys have been giving me thummies and maybe subscribing and all the things. So that is it for this one, my friends. And until the next one, take care. Bye.